Welcome to the Cabinet of Science and Fiction.
Great to be here.
Today we're plunging into a truly fascinating puzzle, really an enigma from the late 19th century in the United States.
That's right, the great airship wave of 1896, 1897.
Exactly, and you have to sort of picture the time, right? Imagine human flight is barely even a concept for most people, certainly not a reality.
Not at all. Balloons existed, yes, but controlled, powered flight. That was science fiction, literally.
And then suddenly you have hundreds, maybe even thousands of people all across the country reporting mysterious silent airships.
Yeah, and crucially, these weren't just dismissed as balloons. The descriptions were quite specific, weren't they?
Very specific, consistently described as cigar-shaped. Sometimes they mention wings, often brightly lit.
Powerful lights, searchlights even, are mentioned again and again.
And performing these aerial maneuvers that,
Yeah.
well, they seemed utterly impossible for the technology at the time, just completely out of step.
We're talking turns, hovering, rapid ascents, things that balloons simply couldn't do.
We've got this collection of accounts, newspaper clippings, eyewitness testimonies. Putting it all together paints this picture of something really extraordinary happening up there.
It really does, a genuine historical puzzle.
So our mission today is basically to unpack this. What were people actually seeing? And what can we possibly make of it all now, looking back?
Where do we even begin? It's such a rich period.
Okay, let's set the scene a bit more. The late 1890s in America.
Right. Post-Civil War reconstruction is well underway. The nation is expanding, industrializing rapidly.
The railroad is absolutely king, connecting the country like never before.
But the skies, still largely empty. Aviation is, well, it's in its absolute infancy.
The Wright brothers are still years away from Kitty Hawk. Their first successful flight isn't until 1903.
So we're talking 6-7 years before that proven, documented flight.
Exactly.
Oh.
So against this backdrop, reports start flooding in. Sophisticated airships traversing the skies. It must have caused an incredible stir.
A monumental stir is right. Think about it for most people, a large, maneuverable flying machine. That's Jules Verne stuff. It's fantasy.
It would challenge their whole understanding of what was possible, wouldn't it?
Completely. It defied the known realities of their world. Imagine seeing something like that when the fastest thing you usually see is a train.
So the sightings themselves, they really kicked off in California in November 1896.
Yes, Sacramento. A large illuminated object seen over the state capitol. That seems to be the flashpoint.
And from that one event, it just ignited. A wave of reports spreading incredibly fast.
Like wildfire, really, across numerous states over the next year or so.
And we're not talking about like a dozen reports here and there.
No. This was widespread. We're looking at thousands of newspaper articles documenting these events.
Thousands, that's a staggering number.
It is. One researcher, Robert Neely Jr., he cataloged over 2,200 separate newspaper reports just from that 1896-97 period.
Wow. Okay, so that underlines the sheer scale. It wasn't just a local oddity.
Not at all. It shows the geographical scope, but also the immense public fascination. And remember, newspapers were the mass media. Their reach was huge.
So people were talking about this everywhere.
Absolutely everywhere.
And these weren't just, quick glimpses of a light miles away.
No, the accounts are often quite detailed. People reported seeing these things at all times, day and night.
And some claimed they landed.
Yes, some reports describe them landing, often surrounded by those bright lights we mentioned.
Which is just incredible. And even more astonishingly, some witnesses claimed direct interaction.
Talking to the occupants, that's where it gets really, really strange.
Okay, let's talk about those descriptions.
Yeah.
One of the really early, much-discussed sightings.
Was it the one describing the occupants?
Yeah, a large cigar-shaped object, 6 occupants reported, and that powerful light again.
Right, and the connection people make now is, well, it sounds a lot like modern UFO encounters, doesn't it?
It really does. The cigar shape, the lights, multiple beings or people inside. But this is happening over a century ago, before airplanes, before the concept of, flying saucers.
It's that consistency across time that's so intriguing. The motifs repeat: cigar shape, lights, occupants in the 1890s, and then again in later UFO waves.
So are we seeing the same thing, just interpreted differently through the lens of each era?
That's the big question, isn't it? Or is there some other reason for these recurring themes? It's fascinating to ponder.
But the descriptions back then,
Yeah.
They weren't totally uniform, were they?
No, not entirely. While the cigar ship was common, some reports definitely mention wings, like big flapping wings sometimes.
Flapping wings, serious.
Seriously. Others, no mention of wings at all, just the smooth cigar body.
And the power source, that was a complete mystery, too.
Total mystery. People were guessing wildly. Steam power was familiar, so some guessed that.
You could imagine maybe seeing vapor or something and thinking steam.
Exactly. Others speculated about electricity, which was futuristic, cutting-edge tech back then, but not really capable of powering flight like that.
It's like people were trying to fit this utterly alien thing into boxes they understood.
Precisely. Eyewitness testimony is tricky, isn't it? Especially with something so far outside normal experience. Your brain tries to make sense of it, using what it knows.
Oh, so one person hears a hiss, thinks steam. Another sees bright lights, thinks electricity.
Right. It highlights the challenge of relying just on what people said they saw, however sincere they were. Perception plays a huge role.
Then there are these accounts of accidents.
Yeah.
Strange debris being found.
Ah, yes, the physical evidence angle. Always tantalizing, always difficult to verify.
There was one in Michigan. People heard an explosion in the sky.
That's the one. An explosion reported, and then later, people found these odd, lightweight materials and bits of wire scattered on the ground.
Lightweight materials and wire. Could that connect to another report from around the same area? Someone found a large wheel?
A large, unusually constructed wheel, yes, found by a local couple. It's suggestive, definitely. Could they be related?
It certainly makes it sound like something physical might have happened, not just lights in the sky.
It adds a layer of tangibility, or potential tangibility. But verifying it now? Almost impossible.
Well,
The materials are long gone. The wheel, who knows?
no photos, no analysis back then, obviously.
Exactly. So these reports remain intriguing, but frustratingly inconclusive. They do make it harder to just dismiss everything as psychological, though.
Okay, let's talk about the occupants again, because the descriptions there are maybe the wildest part.
They are incredibly varied. All over the map, really.
Some said they looked human-like.
Generally human-like, yes. Sometimes specific details were mentioned, like long beards being common.
Long beards, okay.
But then the languages. Witnesses reported hearing them speak in languages they couldn't understand at all.
Unfamiliar languages, or sometimes just strange accents.
Both. Accents described as very peculiar, not matching any known regional dialects.
And wasn't there that really odd one from Arkansas?
Ah, yes. The report describing 3 men who looked like Japanese sailors.
Japanese sailors.
Yeah.
In rural Arkansas in the 1890s. That's unexpected.
To say the least. And that sheer diversity of descriptions, human-like, bearded Japanese sailors speaking unknown tongues, it really complicates any simple explanation, doesn't it?
It really does. If it was just, say, one secret inventor testing his craft, you'd expect more consistency in who people saw.
You absolutely would. This variety pushes the boundaries and makes you consider, well, a wider range of possibilities, or at least acknowledge the sheer strangeness being reported.
And the interactions weren't just people seeing them. There were reports of the airships interacting with the ground.
Yes, and sometimes in truly bizarre ways.
Like the story from Kansas? The one about the calf?
Oh, the calf lifting incident. That one is legendary. An airship supposedly seen using a red cable
The red cable specifically.
to lift a heifer, a young cow, out of a field.
Wow. Okay, that sounds completely outlandish. Like, beyond belief.
It does. And yet it was reported in the papers at the time. And interestingly, the primary witness was supposedly a respected member of the Kansas House of Representatives, Alexander Hamilton.
The politician. So it's supposedly a credible source.
Supposedly. And his story was apparently corroborated by others who vouched for his character. Whether it happened or was misinterpretation or pure tall tale, it became part of the airship legend.
And it has that weird echo, doesn't it? With modern reports of cattle mutilations and strange aerial phenomena associated with them.
It does have that uncanny resonance decades later. It's one of those details that just sticks with you because it's so specific and so odd.
So these pilots, when they did interact, what were those conversations like? You mentioned strange requests.
Yes, often quite peculiar. There's that famous story of the man calling himself Smith.
Just Smith. Very descriptive.
Right. He supposedly approached a farmer asking for lubricating oil and copper sulfate.
Copper sulfate. What would an airship need that for?
Who knows? But he apparently offered $10, which was a lot of money then,
A huge amount.
and promised the farmer a ride in the airship later.
A ride. Did he get it?
History doesn't record that he did, unfortunately, but Smith's other comments were just as strange.
Like what?
When asked where he was from, he apparently said, anywhere.
Just
Anywhere.
okay, that's not helpful.
And then claimed he was heading to Greece the next day.
To Greece, from rural America, in 1897, in an airship.
Exactly. It just adds layers to the mystery. These don't sound like local inventors testing a prototype in their barn.
Not unless their barn had intercontinental capabilities they weren't telling anyone about.
Precisely. The requests for specific materials, oil, copper sulfate, hint at some kind of technology, but the casual claims of origin and destination are just baffling.
But it wasn't always serious business or technical requests.
No, sometimes the accounts have these almost whimsical details.
Like the trumpet.
Yeah, one account mentioned the crew having a trumpet and apparently enjoying playing music while flying around.
Yeah, airship band. Okay.
And another pilot told a witness he was planning to stop off at Hot Springs.
Hot Springs, Arkansas.
The very same, for the thermal baths.
Seriously, an advanced aerial vehicle pilot needed to take the waters.
Apparently so. It's these human touches, isn't it? Mundane concerns mixed with the utterly extraordinary.
It almost makes them sound more real in a weird way, less like abstract aliens, more like, well, eccentric people with an amazing machine.
Exactly. It adds this layer of quirky humanity that makes the stories more vivid, more memorable, even if it makes explaining them even harder. People with odd priorities, perhaps.
Okay, this is where we have to talk about Jules Verne.
Ah, yes. The inescapable Verne
The
connection.
visionary author. His novel, Robur the Conqueror, that came out before the airship wave, right?
10 years before, published in 1886, the main sightings wave was 1896-97.
And in that book, he describes an airship called the Albatross.
A very advanced, electrically powered, multi-propellered airship.
And the descriptions, the parallels are just uncanny, aren't they?
They really are. The shape often described similarly to the reported airships, the powerful lights.
Those searchlights again.
And even, bizarrely, the detail of a trumpet being played aboard the Albatross in the novel.
The trumpet. That specific detail matches one of the sightings reports. That feels like more than coincidence.
It certainly feels like a strong connection. How much did Verne's popular novel influence what people thought they saw a decade later? Or was something else going on?
And wasn't there something about the route the Albatross takes in the book?
Yes, this is fascinating. Verne describes a specific flight path for the Albatross across North America.
Okay.
When researchers plot that fictional route on a map and then overlay the locations of the real 1896-97 airship sightings,
There's an overlap.
a significant overlap. Something like 8 out of the 12 U.S. states mentioned in Verne's book were also major hotspots for the real-world sightings.
8 out of 12. That's a high correlation.
It is, and it goes deeper. Specific cities and landmarks mentioned by Verne often correspond closely to clusters of actual sightings. It gets harder and harder to just wave it away as chance.
So what are the theories there? Did Verne somehow know something?
Well, that's where the speculation really takes off. Some researchers wonder if Verne embedded some kind of hidden message.
Like he was part of a secret group that already had this technology.
That's one line of thought. Or perhaps he just had an incredible, almost prophetic intuition about future technology and how it might appear.
It's definitely speculative territory, like you said. No hard proof of secret societies or prophecy.
None whatsoever. But the detailed parallels remain genuinely puzzling. Did he have access to information we don't know about? Or was his imagination just that powerful and it resonated with something real later on? It adds another layer to the whole enigma.
We mentioned the newspapers earlier. They must have played a huge role in fanning the flames.
Oh, undoubtedly. The press was all over this. Hundreds of papers, multiple stories a day sometimes.
And this is the era of yellow journalism, right? Sensationalism was big.
Absolutely. Exaggerated headlines, dramatic storytelling, anything to sell papers. The airship mystery was perfect material for them.
So how much did the media create the wave versus just reporting it?
That's the million-dollar question. They certainly amplified it. Did sensational reporting encourage more people to see things or even invent stories? Probably, to some extent.
The power of suggestion on a mass scale.
Exactly. But whether it entirely explains the phenomenon, that's debatable, given the volume and type of witnesses.
Because skepticism definitely existed back then, too. People weren't all just buying it wholesale.
Not at all. Plenty of people dismissed it. Hoaxes were suggested immediately.
Practical jokes getting out of hand.
Right. Or optical illusions, strange atmospheric effects, planets like Venus maybe being misidentified.
Venus gets blamed for a lot of UFO sightings, even today.
It does. And of course, the old standby. Too much whiskey.
Huh. Always a possible explanation for unusual sights.
And there was even that theory they were just advertisements for the Ringling Brothers Circus.
Ads. How would that work?
Maybe projecting lights or cleverly designed balloons. It sounds silly now, but people were grasping for conventional explanations. It shows the need to find a rational cause.
But despite the skepticism and the likely hoaxes and misidentifications,
Yes,
it's hard to dismiss everything because of who's doing the reporting.
exactly. The sheer volume of reports from apparently credible people, we're talking law enforcement officers, sheriffs, deputies,
People whose job involves careful observation.
judges, mayors, doctors, ministers, respected business owners, state legislators, people with reputations to uphold.
Not typically folks prone to making up wild stories for attention.
Generally not. And when you have so many reports from such seemingly reliable sources across such a wide area, all describing fundamentally similar phenomena.
It makes you think something unusual was genuinely happening, doesn't it? Something beyond just jokes and Venus.
It lends significant weight to that idea. It suggests a core phenomenon that needs explaining, even if it was embellished or mixed with hoaxes along the way.
Which brings us to maybe the most famous and definitely the strangest single incident of the whole wave.
It has to be Aurora, Texas.
Aurora, Texas.
Yeah.
April 1897, the alleged crash.
The story is just legendary. An airship supposedly hits a windmill.
Judge Proctor's windmill, wasn't it?
That's the one. Hits the windmill, crashes, and the pilot is killed.
And the description of the pilot.
Yes.
That's the really startling part.
Described as, well, not an inhabitant of this world.
Not from Earth. Some reports stemming from a local telegraph operator named T.J. Weems, I think, even suggested the pilot was from Mars.
From Mars in 1897. And debris from this crash was supposedly scattered around.
And the pilot's body. They buried it.
Reportedly buried in the local Aurora cemetery under some degree of secrecy, though a marker was apparently placed later.
It sounds like. Well, like you said, a Victorian Roswell. It has all those elements. Crash, strange debris, non-human body, alleged cover-up, or quiet burial.
It really does prefigure Roswell by 50 years. But like Roswell, the physical evidence is debated or missing. Attempts to exhume the alleged grave have been blocked or inconclusive.
So it remains this incredibly evocative, controversial story. A potential smoking gun, but one nobody can quite seem to get their hands on.
Exactly. It's the most sensational part of the airship wave and the part most entangled in modern UFO lore, but also perhaps the hardest to verify historically.
So looking back at the whole 1896-97 period, official investigations at the time didn't really find anything conclusive, did they?
No, they were pretty inconclusive. There wasn't a national-level investigation like you might see today. It was mostly local authorities, newspaper reporters looking into it. No definitive answers were found.
Which leaves us where? With one of the most compelling, persistent, unexplained mysteries in American history.
Absolutely. Was it mass hysteria fueled by the papers?
Was it incredibly elaborate, widespread hoaxes?
Misidentification of natural phenomena, maybe some unknown atmospheric effects.
Secret terrestrial experiments? Maybe some inventor really was way ahead of their time testing something.
Or something else, something genuinely unknown, maybe even, as the Aurora story hints, not from around here.
The possibilities are still debated. It just resists any single easy answer.
It really does. Each explanation seems to fit some parts of the story, but not others. The sheer scale, the witness credibility, the weird details, the Verne connection, it's a complex tapestry.
So what does it all mean for us, looking back now?
Well, I think it shows that the skies held profound mysteries long before the modern UFO era. The late 19th century wasn't just steam trains and gaslights. Something remarkable seems to have been happening.
It's a reminder that even in times we think of as simpler, technologically, people witnessed things that defied easy explanation.
And it makes us think about collective observation, how stories spread, the power of the media back then, and just that enduring human fascination with the unknown, doesn't it?
That sense of wonder and maybe a little bit of fear looking up at the sky.
Exactly. It challenges our assumptions about the past and maybe even the present. What are we missing now?
What stands out most to you from all these accounts? Is there one aspect you find particularly compelling or puzzling?
That's tough. I think for me, it's the combination of the sheer volume of reports from credible people, combined with those incredibly specific, weird details like the copper sulfate or the trumpet or the calf incident. It's the texture of it all. It doesn't feel entirely made up, but it also doesn't feel entirely earthly sometimes. What about you?
I think for me, it's that Jules Verne connection. The overlap in descriptions and especially the geographical route. It's just too specific to easily dismiss. It makes you wonder about the flow of ideas and inspiration, or maybe something stranger.
It really does. And this deep dive, it's really just scratching the surface, isn't it? There's so much more detail in those old newspaper accounts, so many more individual stories.
Absolutely. Countless avenues to explore further, the history, the psychology, the folklore.
It's a mystery that keeps on giving.
Well, thanks for listening to this exploration into the cabinet of science and fiction.
It's been fascinating to revisit this one.
Until next episode, keep looking up and keep questioning.